and welcome to Olsem Wanem. Over the years, we've heard about the historical transition of our ancestors being nomadic hunters and gatherers of food to subsistence farmers. We've taken another step from subsistence farming to commercial farming and are now faced with many challenges. We now take a look at PNG's horticulture sector. But firstly, what is horticulture? Horticulture comes from the Latin word hortis, meaning garden, and cultura, meaning cultivation. The word horticulture evokes images of plants, gardening, and people working in the horticulture industries. Horticulture can be practiced from the individual level in a garden up to the activities of a multinational corporation. It involves the production of plants for human food and non-food uses, as well as for personal and social needs. It is classified into two main groups, ornamentals and edibles. Horticulture may sound like a new dictionary word, but it has a very long history in Papua New Guinea. The cultivation of taro and yam dates back to at least 6950 to 6440 BP. Its origins lie in the transition of humans being nomadic hunters and gatherers to horticulturist communities cultivating a variety of crops on a small scale within their dwelling communities.
The horticulture sector is the most important single industry in Papua New Guinea. I say important because the bulk of our people who live in 80% of our people who live in the villages are players in that sector. Now, with over 60% of our population living below the poverty line, meaning they earn less than 2 kina a day, if there was some sector that we can use to reduce this gap and the number of people living under the poverty line, it is the horticulture sector or the fresh food sector.
We do know that over 80% of Papua New Guineans that reside in the rural areas heavily depend on horticultural activities for their survival. But even those that reside in the urban areas cannot go without having fresh produce such as fruits and vegetables, as well as maintaining an eco-friendly environment. Papua New Guinea's horticulture industry has evolved over the years at its own pace. Our farmers have so far shifted from being subsistence farmers to commercial farmers.
So every week I'm missing 30 bags, depend on suppliers. So plenty come and price will come down. Legally come and price will go up. So 30 bags and one week we plus supply.
Our suppliers, as far as Mount Willem, Mendi, also from Goroka, Kainantu and Ulolo.
Welcome back to Olsem Wanem. Next, we highlight the difficulties faced by the local farmers and suppliers of fresh produce in meeting the demands of retailers, wholesalers, and catering companies, as well as ensuring that local fresh produce commodities are competitive against the imported fresh produce. As Papua New Guinean farmers shift from subsistence farming to commercial farming, they are now being faced with a lot of challenges. The Fresh Produce Development Agency held an inaugural horticulture value chain conference this week in Port Moresby to highlight the challenges faced in the country's horticulture sector.
And so we decided to call everybody together, the different players in this value chain, the farmers, the wholesalers, the retailers, supermarkets, the transport people in New Guinea, consort shipping, and land transport people, packaging people, input suppliers like people who bring in seeds and fertilizers and chemicals, like Brian Bell. We bring them together to come to a forum where they can discuss those issues, and then come up with and then look at the issues that are they're affecting that smooth flow, body smooth.
Experiences were shared from farmers, retailers, wholesalers, catering companies, and consumers.
Online location, online locale come down mainly. So roads are bumpy. So it's taking time to come down low town.
All the time, all man like buying law, wholesale, retail, also like in quality law buy. So some of the time law, come to all this now. Amas lo making more hamamas. Mrs. Buying tas, amas lo bagad of character. Me buy tas long na. Me buy some of the time 30 kina, 40 kina, 50 kina, all this time go buying. Me character take law, market law, retail. Na me house na me put planted law, amas a bake it, honey in all already size of Baharat Longen, some of them it's Longen, always a packing, some of farmer, some always a packing good. So, time we can put in law, retail, all man law, buying law, one all like him, quality something.
During the conference, farmers and suppliers highlighted that they are often faced with issues relating to poor road and transport conditions, high freight costs, poor infrastructure, and absence of coordinated cool chain systems. Catering companies, on the other hand, stressed heavily on the quality, quantity, size, and packaging of fresh produce from the producers and suppliers.
Infrastructure, you miss sabe, couple kaka stable place, road inoga. Mama puti kaka lo bilung wamplay guantala narapla pigini sidan na mogoba. By the time she brings her produce to the market, underneath bilum ya what I'm sting penis here. And the underneath bilum is the biggest bilum, and then ogata guantapi and moliglik behind him. So ogata kaka blend underneath your bagarap. Facility. All karakalo market no ka place la putim. Sanabim la san. No ka car all about there. Man buy longen lo market. Awam karen na turma insala PMV am walking. Karen kangen you go to Bismarck yard. Drive at Coke. You look lo side ya lo layer. Bags and stacks of potato, cow, English cabbage, ogara sanap carrots sanap san cooking ya. There's no facility in life while we're waiting for the shipping company to provide a container. Is that correct? What is required from us? As a buyer, I look for freshness, and I look at the packaging of the product, and I look at the size of the produce. I look for consistency in quality, consistency in price, and consistency in supply.
Supermarket retailers also stated that good transport and packaging of fresh produce is very important.
We buy almost anything that we can put in our shelf. As I say, broccoli from Mendi, cabbage from Goroka, chocolate from Buang and Bulodo, carrot from Mount William and Goroka. These farmers had to struggle to bring their harvest down to late. Riding on PMV overnight so they can reach the lay in the morning. And then they put all the crops in bales, stacking tightly on the PMV truck, hot, dusty and compressed. And then when they offloaded their harvest crops, sometimes it gets spoiled, flat, smashed, and sometimes already yellow because of the heat. They can minimize this kind of damage by using a proper transport or proper packaging. But again, this practice may be quite costly to the farmers, and also it reduces the quality of the product that reaches the customer.
One thing that I want to tell any Guinea boss man blue logo back na walking na law work man blue how law in the lim kai law plus balus. Tomato blow Michael Mikisimia boxy out kisim no trauma, even the fragile sticker is there.
For us to make a gross claim that in New Guinea damages cargo would not be the appropriate claim. The claim is we suffer from a black hole syndrome. Somebody experiences a bad situation and hence it covers the total airline and that sort of thing. But we do not believe that it happens every time. We do know that there is challenges in managing that process, and as I said earlier, our service levels have improved very, very significantly.
Central Province still heavily depends on fresh produce transported from the highlands. However, lessons can be learned from horticulture farms that have been successful, such as the Pacific Adventist University Horticulture Farm, which has so far generated an annual income of 4.5 million kina. The market value of fresh produce in Papua New Guinea is about 2.5 billion kina, while the total country-wide fresh produce demand is said to be 1,314,000 tons of assorted fruits and vegetables per year. According to the Fresh Produce Development Agency, only a small portion of the food produced locally is entering the market and the rest is consumed. Port Moresby is the single largest market. It is increasing every year due to the influx of people.
Fresh produce moving down from the highlands through Lae to Port Moresby, as well as the Central Province supply to Port Moresby. So much of what Minister Maru said this morning about understanding the system, we already have a very good understanding of the system and its problems. So the other project that I've been involved in is with ACR, which has been in Central Province, and we've been working very closely with two communities, one at Tapini in Gualala and the other one in Rigo.
Most the farmers that bring to us in weekly basis, like broccoli, average about half a ton per week, which come from Mendi. Chinese cabbage, average a ton per week, which come from Goroka. Charcoal leaf, maybe around 500 to 600 bundles per week, which come from Buang and Bulolo. Carrot and cauliflower, maybe around 1.5 ton per week, which some come as far as Mount William and Goroka. English cabbage, which is quite impressive, 4 to 5 tons weekly, which is come from Kainantu and Goroka. Tomato come from Goroka, and also potatoes, which we can consume weekly around average of 2 tons. It sometimes comes as far as Tambul and Goroka.
Lessons can be learned from the horticulture farm at the Pacific Adventist University, which has been quite successful in the past few years. This farm was primarily established to cater for the university's students, but over the years it has been supplying vegetables to catering companies as well as supermarkets within Port Moresby.
Na giron bloyumia in no one kind of small narapla climates or narapla provinces, like for example low highlands here, place some cold, so kaike also grow, also moist na stuff also grow. Like Port Moresby, time dry season come up here, just evaporating more get the water na place dry. Olsem, so very important ni pala masih irrigation. Lo maintaining moist lo ground so our crop can grow. Plastic mulching pala putim lo retaining moist lo ground na igatim nara pla system ipla like using tasol lo controlling weed lo plastic ya and also igatim reflection Olsem reflecting ocean lo pest na disease antap lo crop. So I want like kind system lo irrigation das using lo PAUM. So that's three kind of irrigation system: overhead sprinklers, microjet or trickle irrigation, na butterfly irrigation system. Advice lo mi lo line where Olsem all stop. Suppose all stop close to lo irrigation system or you got in water run or creek. The best way all suppose lo walking trench. Or can dig in na everything water come inside lo farming area blow. Where all can walk in trench across lo area of farming area blow also. Water can just run through lo farm area blow. Where all can use him tasol lo farming ground blow. Because time like use him this like an system lo use him very expensive.
Suppose you look around the banana too, but you look at me got all blue plastic and stuff, or em place cover him banana long em sa protect him lo scale where sometimes by him say look him sa come up lo fruit blow or banana you can look him sometimes by look him more wrap plus fruit blow banana we protect those from going bad by using plastic bag ya me place karap him long me na time ready me plakati mo plastic bag na karem go and then pack it away ready for sales. Most crops you got time season by me talk where all insect bakam na take him all crop, but we do cover for all the crops every week. We play at time is up every week. We have every Friday. We play apply insecticide lo kat all crops we play lo protect them all insecticide insect we also attack them all crops.
This horticultural farm not only caters for Pacific Adventist University students and supermarkets, it also provides employment opportunity for locals as well as giving students hands-on experience on agriculture. The farm generated an income of 300,000 kina in 1994. Last year, the farm made an annual income of 4.5 million kina. The inaugural Horticulture Value Chain Conference hosted by Fresh Produce Development Agency allowed fresh produce growers to meet with the main market players, service providers, and other stakeholders for possible linkage and partnership. We now take a look at some of the recommendations that have been made.
The industry should get together and develop an industry plan and bring it to government and tell us, look, we can replace all the imports, we can export to these markets, we can even manufacture, say use our oranges to manufacture oranges, why do we import it? Use our pineapple to produce pineapple juice, why do we keep importing it? We can do all of that, but we don't even have a plan. We don't even know how much we are bringing in. We don't even know the volumes that we produce. So how can we, government, assist the sector, the most important sector, if we don't even have a roadmap, we don't even know where do we fit in, and how should the government best assist to create a very attractive environment for people to engage in the sector. So the big thing is, for now it's like blending in the blind. We need to have an industry plan. How do we grow it and develop it? What are the targets? What are the aims? What are the goals? Clearly we must meet our requirements, stop all the imports, and let's also look at export markets. Let's also stop importing the manufactured juices and all that from other countries. Why can't we do it here?
The inaugural Horticulture Conference saw the presentation of recommendations and opportunities to address issues faced in Papua New Guinea's horticulture sector. Recommendations made included government subsidy for transport costs, subsidy on farm inputs, the establishment of market policies on imports, cooler depots to be placed in major towns and districts, as well as government subsidy on the cost of reefer containers.
Now company providing more seeds now, all shades, helping more farmers, but we're not there to look after them. So people ask FDA, FPDA, line him all, look out him all this, seed planting and harvesting. And they've been happy, they've been really actively involved in that, assisting us doing that as well.
The event also saw the participation and contribution of foreign aid organizations.
Essentially, we've got two programs under development. One is to invest in public market infrastructure, and I can't give you much more detail at this stage, but we will be making a funding announcement in the next few weeks. The second initiative is working with the private sector here, including fresh produce wholesalers and retailers, on coming together, perhaps in the form of a commercial entity, perhaps a private company, and for us to work with them on addressing some of the constraints in the fresh produce supply chain here. Many of these companies have said they do want to source more product locally rather than depend on imports.
My name is Tenzin Kesom, and I'm part of the UN Capital Development Fund. I'm here today because our work is around extending financial services to the small growers who represent 80% of Papua New Guinea's population. We do have projects across the country, but particularly in the highlands for the small growers. We think access to finance is extremely important to making sure that the small growers are able to develop their livelihoods and also play a key part in PNG's economy. We are working together with the European Union to support the small growers in the Highlands region, and we look forward to utilizing all the networks that we have created here today through the participation at the inaugural Fresh Produce Conference.
Absolutely, we have 18 branches right across the country. We're expanding to 22 further on. Kiunga, Venemo, Manus and Kirima will be the next 4 branches opening this year. So we encourage any person to come into the local representative bank. Most people know where the bank is, and to talk with the people. For a normal loan, we ask them to put up 30%. For a credit scheme, we'll reduce that to 20% because we recognise that the farmers have limited means.
And that concludes this edition of Olsem Wanem. If you have any stories or issues you'd like to share, you can contact Olsem Wanem via the contact details showing on your screen. Don't forget to add us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching, take care, and until next time, enjoy the rest of your viewing on your #1 station and TV.